give me a sec. The first time I do this, it takes just a minute to get it organized together. Okay. Okay, we're good to go now. Let me bring you guys back up. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go through just an introduction of the class. If you watched that video already, you've seen some of this. I go into more detail today, and we'll go over some other stuff actually at the end that I think is extremely helpful moving forward this semester. So welcome to class. This is quantitative reasoning. So if you're not familiar with quantitative reasoning, it's a non-algebra based college level math class. That's the best way to describe it. It doesn't fit everyone. If you're in a STEM field, you know, science, technology, engineering, math, all that stuff, it's not going to really work well for your major. So you need to make sure that it works for the major that you're intending to go into or that you're currently in. So that's the first thing. If you're not sure, just stay after class with me and I'll help you out. Not a big deal. I just don't want you to take a class that really doesn't help you out in the long run. But it is transferable. So you guys that I believe we've got one high school student, which is great. And we have other students that are going to transfer from the 2-year degree into the 4-year degree. It transfers anywhere in the state of Arkansas as it's either quantitative reasoning or quantitative literacy. We all call it something different, but it has a Arkansas course code. So therefore it will transfer. So even if say your major doesn't take it, it will transfer as a math elective. So you will be able to use it as an elective at the new university that you transfer to. Okay, let's start with just going over the Blackboard shell, which I kind of did in that video, but I'm going to go over it again just to make sure you have any questions, or see if you have any questions or anything like that. So let me share my screen. Actually, hold on. Let me do this real fast. Bing. Share screen. Oh, I'm not. There we go. Okay, so this is, in Blackboard, when you log in, you have something that looks like this. Of course, you have a lot less years because I've been here too long. But notice you should have a QR class here. And if you're in the Zoom lecture, I know you've clicked on this already because you had to get to the Zoom information. But I've tried really hard to structure this class in a way that was organized. And it's how I view it should be organized. If you have questions about the organization, please let me know. That's one of the reasons I'm going over this, so we know, where the buttons are and where the information is for this class. So when you click on, I put an introduction video at the very beginning. Yeah, so there's the introduction video that you guys watched already. This will probably replace that actually. Let's click on the syllabi. Let's go over it. There is a COVID addendum. It goes over what we're going to do in case, we have a COVID outbreak. I'll tell you, I won't be able to run this class at my house because I have the worst internet. I'm in the middle of Norfolk, in the middle of nowhere, and the internet's just atrocious. So if I have to go home, if I have to stay home because of close contact or whatever, if I get COVID, I'll keep you guys updated and I will inform you of everything. I will keep the communication lines open so you don't feel lost. Okay. So if we have to kind of, move some stuff around or whatever we have to do, just realize we might have to be a little flexible. Like if you took classes last semester, we had to be a little flexible, especially the last spring. We were that really showed how flexible we could be. But just know that my goal will be communication, to not leave you in the dark in case, if something does happen. Okay, so let's go through this. So QR, quantitative reasoning, math 1043. The best way to get in touch with me is by my email. And when you do that, just please make sure to include the subject line, put QR or quantitative reasoning, something like that, so I know which class you're in. My office hours are 11 to 1, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday 10 to 12. Actually, it's probably Friday. I'm very lenient, actually. So if you need to get a hold of me at a different time on Friday, it won't be a big deal because I don't have classes on Friday. We don't have classes on Friday, right? So my schedule's a little more open. Now, the only difference is during COVID, we have to you have to make an appointment for office hours. So we can meet on Zoom, we can meet in a classroom, excuse me, we can meet in classroom, we can meet on Zoom, on the phone, doesn't matter. But just realize you have to get in touch with me first. You can't just kind of show up and expect that I'm here. So that's the only thing. So just send me an email if you're stuck on something and you want to ask me a question, but you don't feel like you can kind of explain it through email, and you want to get with me, which is great. I think that's a great thing. Just shoot me an email and say, hey, can I meet you Tuesday at 11:30? And I'll shoot you back and I'll say yes, unless I'm meeting with another student. Okay. So not a big deal, but just stay on, just realize that. And it's just a COVID thing. The book we're using, this QR Approach 2014. Okay. I'm going to stop right here for a second. Have you guys ordered the book? You can raise your hand or actually I'd rather, if you've ordered it, could you put in the chat how much you paid for it and where you got it from? Because I've had a few students ask me, and I've had my book for a long time. You know, I taught this class about 5 years ago. So I just still have the old, I mean, it looks like this, except it's not, you know, the instructor edition. So I know it would help me out and it would help other students out if you could just kind of tell, if you had to order it. I'm not sure who all had to order it or not, but if you had to order it, where you got it from and how much it cost. If you haven't ordered it yet, that's fine. Just get it. You need this as soon as possible. We're going to be going over lecture stuff on Wednesday, and I'm going to be giving homework out of it. So you will need this book ASAP. And I give you the ISBN information in Blackboard. Okay. Hold on. Give me just a minute. Okay. So yeah, bookstore ordered it for me. Okay, that's great. Yeah, why not? Oh man, they don't have it in yet. Okay, that's fine. Just keep me updated on that, patients. So if something crazy happens, Amazon 16. That's what I love to hear, Ava. $16, Chegg $28. That's great. Still, that's a great price. Yes, those are great prices. I mean, you know, if you've bought college textbooks in the past, like Pearson has already come out with another book. Like this is from 2014. That's ancient when it comes to Pearson publishing years. So I think they've already come up. Okay, good, Michaela. I think they've already come out with 1 or 2 editions since then. I kept the old edition for that exact reason. So you would be able to find it for a lot less if you search for it online. So good. I was hoping to keep it under 40. I feel like that's reasonable. I know, I mean, there's some books that we just can't do that on campus, which is a bummer. I mean, we don't get any money from, if you guys have a class that has like $100, $150, $200 textbook, it's not because the faculty member makes money off of it. It's just that was the best resource at the time. And I haven't had a class like that in a while, but it is a bummer when it happens. Okay, great. So let's see here. Oh, let me go back to share screen. There we go. Okay, so the calculator as well. So the calculator is a TI-30 X2S. I'm showing my nerdiness. This is my favorite calculator. Okay, so it's not that that's the reason why I want you to get it. It's just that it's the most well-rounded calculator that isn't $100. So you can find this one. Last time I went to Walmart, it was there. No, I'm not a robot. Last time I went to Walmart, it was at our local one. But if not, you can order it. I mean, it's $12, $13. You don't have to, the first few sections we're going over, you won't need a calculator. It's more logic and practical thinking skills. So if you order this one now and it doesn't come in for 1 or 2 weeks, you'll be fine. But I would suggest you doing this. So whenever we get to some math, more like kind of mathy concepts, know that I'm going to give you instructions based on this calculator. And I have to find mine, actually. I think it's at my house. But I'm going to give it to you based on this calculator so you know what buttons to press. I mean, there are other great calculators out there, but I'm not going to give directions, I should say, for 7 different calculators. I'm going to stick to this one. So if you don't want to buy it and you want to use a different one, that's fine. Just realize when I go over what buttons to press, it's going to be based on that calculator. Okay, so yeah, this covers the overview course. Yeah, so the course requirements. There's going to be five regular exams, a final paper, which I'm going to go over, and the final exam. There's no makeup test given. There will be a final that can replace your lowest test score. So we're going to go over that here in a second. But look, I've got a syllabus quiz that some of you guys have already taken in here. So if you go to test or quizzes, it'll be the only thing in. There's a syllabus quiz I put in that just you can take it as many times as you want. Unlike the regular test, you can take it as many times as you want. It's just like 5 or 6 questions, and it goes over things that really the questions and issues I've had in the past with students. So it's me emphasizing what I think is important and things that maybe students kind of glossed over in previous semesters. And then I wind up getting emails when it was clearly in the syllabus. Okay. And don't be surprised if you send me an email on something that's in the syllabus. And I know I'm going to sound like a jerk when I say it, but I might just reply back, hey, that's in the syllabus. Check it out. Just so you know where it's at. Okay. Excuse me. Now, if it's not in the syllabus, of course, I'm going to answer you. And please don't be afraid to send me a question through email or pop on here and ask questions. Okay. Let me scroll down. So we've got 5 regular tests, all worth 100 points. Now, the paper, though, is a little different. I do small bites for this paper, and it's not a long paper. It's only like 500 words. Okay, 500 word minimum. This isn't meant to just scare you by any means. It's because quantitative reasoning is made in a way that it has a writing component. So it's not algebra based. It's more logic, critical thinking, and kind of real world math, but also it has a writing component to it. And because of that writing component, I made it where we've got small bites throughout the semester. So and we'll go over due dates here in a minute, but there's an outline. I say outline and proposal, it's the same thing. Okay. That's worth 25 points, and it's due like in 2 weeks. And it's just a short paragraph. We'll go over actually what it is here in a second. And then a rough draft, and then the final exam. There's also the final paper. Why is the final paper not in? Uh-oh. I need to change that. Ooh, let me write that down on my to-do. The final exam, the final paper is also worth 100 points. Did I not? Hold on. It's in here. It should tell you. Yeah, it's worth 100 points as well. I just need to fix that on my syllabus, guys. Scroll back down. So let me put that in there. To do. Put in final paper. In syllabi. So the total points then, and I don't know why the tab got off here, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually 8. There's 800 points for the semester because there's also a 100-point final paper that is not in there. So the final exam, though, which is comprehensive, it's worth 100 points as well. Okay. And I go off a basic, an A is 90 to 100, B, 80 to 89 scale. Homework will be given for each section and is located in the schedule for the class. We'll get to that in a second. And it won't be taken up as a grade. But look, the tests are going to be directly from that homework, especially this first round. This first time I've taught it, and it's been so long since I've taught this class. I mean, 6 years is a long time to have not taught it. So I'm going to stick pretty consistently with the homework questions. I mean, I'll change numbers up, of course, but they'll be very similar to homework questions when I make this test. So yes, your points, there won't be points taken from the homework, but it's the best way to study for the final. It's the best way to know what's going on throughout the semester. Okay, tests. Yeah, 5 tests worth 100 points apiece. Tests will be given in Blackboard. Oh yeah, the tests are going to be given in Blackboard. It's like that syllabus quiz, but it'll have a different structure. They'll be given in Blackboard. And I'll talk more about that before the first test. So when I create that test, I'll go over it with you guys just to kind of make sure you understand, the directions and information to take the test. The paper, again, is worth 100 points. And then, the proposal and the rough draft along the way. Yeah, and you'll turn those in these paper submissions. When you click paper submission, like this proposal outline, when you click on it, it'll tell you the due date. It's due January 27th, 20.5 points possible. Look, it needs to be in a Word file. So that's a .doc or a .docx file. So I know if you're a Google, Google user, that's fine. I believe you can save documents in a doc file. If you have issues with that, just get with me. I know that on the other hand, when I'm grading this on the other side, it just doesn't look right if it's not a Word file. So if you have issues with that, get with me. I'll work with you. Okay. Not a big deal. Oh man, I'm zooming all over that. Let's get back to where we were. Okay. The final exam is comprehensive. And look, it's going to be on April 30th, and it's going to be due by midnight. Okay. So April 30th is, we have what's called an algebra final exam day, and it's where all the algebras take their final. Well, I'm going to include QR in that group. Okay. I know it's not algebra, but it's going to be included in the group. So it's April 30th, and I'll open up the final for you to take that day, and you'll take it then. Okay. Syllabi is subject to change. Yeah, guys, the syllabi is subject to change, but it's going to be, of course, we'll let you know if it changes, and I don't see why it would, other than if there was just some crazy circumstance where we had to miss a lot of time, I might have to drop a test score, right? So that's the only thing I could see. That's the only way I could see maybe the points changing. Okay, late assignments. All late tests will receive 20 points off. So you can turn it in late, that's fine, but you're going to get 20 points off. You'll receive no points for a late outline, proposal, rough draft, or final paper, and the exam must be taken and turned in by their due date. So the paper stuff, I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to give you points off, like the 20 points off stuff. That's not going to happen for the paper. You've got to get that turned in by those due dates and times. You'll have plenty of time to get it done. But the same with the final. The final I have to have turned in. I have to get done that day because I have to turn in your final grades. So final, same thing. The only thing I will take late, but you'll get 20 points off on is the regular test. Kind of goes over outcomes. You can read that. Responsibilities. You have to come to class, right? This is a live online class. It's not like other classes where you can watch the lectures later. You have to come to class. That's how your attendance is taken. So if you don't come, I have to drop you actually. So there's a late attendance rule, or what do they call it? I don't have it in. I thought I had it in here. I probably need to put that in there. But there's an institutional policy that says if you don't show up within the first 10 days, I have to drop you as a no-show. So if you don't show up in these first 2 weeks, I have to drop you as if you hadn't come to class. So really that's only 3 days, because next Monday is Martin Luther King Day. So if you don't show up in these first 3 days, I have to drop you. Now, if you email me and explain there's some crazy circumstance, email me, that's fine, but you have to get that done. Don't cheat. If you do have a disability of any kind, I don't mind making any accommodation that's needed, but you have to get with Student Services first, our Student Services coordinator. Their information is there. So get with them, and then they can get with me, and then I can make the accommodation. Not a big deal. I just need to know about it. Title IX, please do not discriminate or harass. The food or drink thing, I guess, doesn't matter because you're not in my classroom. Technology statement, we will use, I say online finance calculator. We might get to that. We're definitely going to use the calculator in class, the scientific calculator. And then we will write, not only on tests, but you'll actually be asked to write on the paper, and we'll go over that in a minute. So inclement weather, yeah, just again, I'm going to communicate. I feel like that's one of my strong suits is communication. So whatever we do, whatever happens, if we have to change things around, I will communicate it clearly with you and through email so you can go back and reference it, or an announcement as well, or an announcement. The tutoring center on campus is indeed 208. Miss Daniels, she's there from, I believe, 9 to 4 each day. Her email, actually, I'm going to put it in the chat. It's tutoring at AS, I don't know why I got off. It's tutoring at asumh.edu. She is a great resource. Let me go back to the share screen. I don't know why I did that. She's helped a lot of people through math that have really struggled and that really haven't felt confident in math, and they've used her and really help get through the semester for success. I mean, she's a blessing on campus, and I push students to her in a good way. I push them whenever if they first come to me and say, look, I just need extra help. I'm not getting it. What's some kind of first steps I can do? And I would say go see her. She's really good at kind of diagnosing where you're at and the needs that you need, to be successful in the class. So I would say use her. And again, I believe it's 9 to 4 Monday through Thursday. But email her. She'll have all that information. She's a great resource. Okay, so that's the syllabi. The schedule, the main thing about the schedule is it is not set in stone. Okay. Again, and I know I've said this before, I have not taught this class in 5 or 6 years. And I know some of these sections take a little longer to cover and some are a little quicker. So if they take a little longer, it might take more, like on Wednesday, we're going to cover, you can see, we're set to cover lecture on chapters 1A and 1B, sections 1A and 1B. If they take a little longer and I just can't get through 1A and 1B, I'll kick that over into next Wednesday because we'll be off Monday for Martin Luther King, and that's fine. We'll just go about it that way. That's not a big deal. Okay, and then the test. So test days, and notice week 3. That's the proposal. You got to turn in the proposal that day as well. So on test days, and I'll go over the structure of the test on that once we get there. But notice I set aside an entire day for the test. Okay, so. We'll just come into the class. Actually, you won't be able to do that. Let me set up the structure of the test. I had to think about this because, I'll get back to you on the test days and what we're going to do. I apologize, guys, for not having that one kind of set up in my head. But it will be due that day, that Wednesday. So test 1 will be due Wednesday. Okay, let's just stop there for a minute. And I'm going to come back to me. Oh, that's fine. Do you guys have any questions about the syllabi or the course schedule? You can raise your hand. You can butt in. You can put the question in the chat. I guess for me, the chat's over there. I don't know if it's over there for you. But you can put it in chat. I'm going to give you just a minute if you think of a question. Now that we've kind of gone over everything. Probably zoom in. It's this Monster Energy drink. I'm going too fast. Oh yeah, we'll get there. Hold up on that. The paper. Let me go over. I'm going to go over the paper information next. Emily, I'll probably answer that question for you. Yeah, I probably should have stopped after that. Actually. Okay. I mean, hey guys, if you write a question, I'll get to it. At the end, even it's not a big deal. I'll give you some more time to ask questions at the end. But if you think of a question, you can butt in. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, and just ask or put it in the chat. Doesn't matter. Or later on, if you're like, if you think of something later, email me. That's a-okay too. Okay, let me go back to share and let's talk about this paper. So notice on the left, I've got this paper information tab. So when you click on it, it gives you I made just this Word document. And I tried to do a decent job on kind of going over the rules and regs and description of what I want for each item. So let's go over the proposal and outline, because I'll tell you, a good proposal is going to make it where this paper is going to be really easy to write. So it's due January 27th by midnight. In that the paper submission tab, I use APA formatting, Times New Roman 12-point double space. The proposal needs to be a single paper or single paragraph, not paper. Just a single paragraph that outlines a math topic that intrigues you. So that answers that question, Emily. You'll receive the entire 25 points by explaining why the topic is math related and how you plan to write a 1 to 2 page paper on the topic. I will make comments on how you should move forward with your rough draft on the topic within a week of submission. Now, if you submit it today, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make the comments after everybody turns them in. So if you know like what you want to write, something that intrigues you, and you just write this up today, just realize I'm going to grade them all at the same time after January 27th. I will make comments on how you should move forward on the topic within the week of the submission. Submit in the paper submission tab, and again in the .doc or .docx as a .doc or .dox format. So what I'm wanting is just something that intrigues you, that you think is math oriented. And that's why I'm doing the proposal. Now, look, if you give me something that's totally not math oriented, I'm going to give you I guess I'll give you the points for the proposal because you turned it in. But I want to look at that and go, hey, this isn't going to work for this type of paper, but it will work for, but let's kind of change it. That's why I want to go, that's really why I want the proposal early. So that way you choose a topic that makes sense. Okay. And I mean, I don't even want to give you examples of them because I don't want you to use an example I would bring up because I don't know. I just don't want you to do that. but let's say you want to do something with money or a business, whatever. I know. Okay, I'll tell you one in the past that a student used, and I'm going to make it where you guys can't use this one, even though it was intriguing. And this was a while ago, so I got to remember. Now we'll go over a section on exponential decay and exponential increase, and they wrote a paper on a zombie infection and like how quick it would take over and other kind of math issues that would happen or number money issues, things like that. So it was neat, and they didn't think of it, or they thought of that topic totally on their own. But it was really neat how they brought in exponential increase. You know, if one zombie infects 3 zombies, or if one zombie infects 3 people, how quick it spreads and things of that nature. So that's a good example. You can't use a zombie infection rate because I gave you that example. But I mean, I know that's not, I hope it's not real world, I should say, but it's not really real world that we think of because zombies aren't real at the moment. But something like that, something that maybe just intrigues you with sports or with anything, I don't care. But I want you to give me just a paragraph by January 27th, and I'll go over each one. I'll make comments on maybe if I feel you should go in a different direction, or maybe it's a great direction, or maybe I might make a comment on how you could expand it, you know, if you brought in, or maybe make it a little more mathy, you know, something like that. But definitely that's what it's meant for. So, and then notice the rough draft. I'll get that information back to you within a week, and then I want you to start working on a rough draft, and it's due February 25th by midnight. It's worth 50 points. Again, APA times New Roman 12-point double spaced. And it just expands on the proposal and hits the topics that were included in your proposal, okay? So this one does have a rubric, though. The other one is just turning it in. You get the 25 points, okay? Turning in, I should say, and write a paragraph. And you get the 25 points. This one, you get 10 points for APA formatting, 10 points for meeting the word count, and 30 points for properly explaining your topic in the text. And then lastly, the final, which is due on your final. Remember, we said we were taking the final on April 30th. Well, that's when your final paper is due as well. So it's worth 100 points, same thing, APA formatting, 12-point times New Roman, double spaced. But it's a little different. It's got to be between 500 and 1,200 words. Again, you get 10 points for APA, 10 points for meeting the minimum word count, but the 80 points is coming from properly explaining your topic in the text. Okay. So Emily, I hope that answered your question about the paper, but you get to choose the topic. And if you want to send me an email, if you're thinking of 2 or 3 topics and you're not sure which one to go with, you can shoot me an email over the next few days. And I don't mind choosing one for you, but I want you to come up with maybe a few if you're not sure which one to do, if something just doesn't stick out to you. Okay, gradebook is here. Now look, I'll tell you, when you take the test, it'll pop in, or like say after you submit the final and I grade it, to look and see what you missed, or to see my comments, it'll be, you'll have the points over here. And when you click on your grade over there, it'll show you each question, what you missed, and if I made comments on that question, okay? So just know that I'll probably go over that again after the first test, just to show you what I'm talking about, because I got a lot of questions about that last semester. Last semester was my first time teaching on Blackboard and making tests on Blackboard, so it was a new experience, a learning experience. Zoom information, you guys have already clicked on that if you're in the class, but you click here, go through the steps, and you'll see me. Email me. Right here, remember in the subject line, make sure to put, quantitative reasoning. QR would work as well. You guys are my only QR class. So QR, just so I know which class you're in, and it sends a direct email to me. Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop right there. Now, do you guys have any questions? I've got one more thing I'm going to cover, but do you guys have any questions about anything about this class, or comments or issues? Again, you can butt in if you want. You can raise your hand, or you can go to the gallery. Okay. Or you can click on, you can put it in the chat. Anyways, I'm going to give you a minute in case you think of something. It's okay if you don't have any. Let me get situated real fast while you guys are doing that. Okay, I'm going to assume you guys don't have questions. I am going to do this kind of the last exercise for this class. I'm going to tell you it's going to be true for every class you're ever in, okay? And the most common question I get asked, period, in any class is, you know, how can I be successful in this class? What do I need to do to be successful? Which is great. I'm glad they're asking when they do. It always intrigues me when they ask me after they fail their first test. So I'm going to go over that for this class, but I want you to know this kind of relates to all classes you're ever going to take. And let me get my screen document camera here. So this will be geared towards this class, but I'm telling you, it's anything you've done before in a class to be successful. So I'm going to make you tell me. We're going to sit here and you just tell me. You can tell me through Zoom. You can tell me, you know, you just butt in and tell me, or you can put it in the chat. I can see the chat now, which is great. I want you to know what are things you're going to do in this class to be successful, to pass. If passing is what you consider success. What are you going to do to pass this class? We're going to get to 8 no matter what. Attend Zoom. Yes, attend. I'm going to just put that down. Come to class. How about that, Ava? Come to class. Come to class. That it's probably the most basic one. Oh, make class a priority. Okay. I'm going to say patience. I'm going to put that in the same bucket as come to class. Or do you want to expand on that for me? Maybe I'm thinking of it in a different way than you are. Like, what do you mean by making it a priority? Oh, yeah, Eva, that's a good one. I'll get to that in a second. If you want to butt in, that's fine too. Okay. Oh, that's great, Emily. I'm going to expand on what Ava said, turn in assignments on time. I'm going to expand that out a little differently. Ooh, okay. I'll get back to you, patience. I just saw that pop up. I'm going to expand on what Ava said a little differently. And I'm going to say, wait, hold on a second. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I got you now. I'm going to say organize time wisely. I don't think I spelled wisely right. Oh, no. Okay. Organize time wisely. So what that means is, this is a Monday, Wednesday class, right? So I'm going to give you homework. Every Monday and Wednesday, there's going to be homework. So you need to set aside time to get that homework done before the next lecture period, right? I think I'm kind of taking it that way, patience, right? Having kiddos, it's a hard time, to make school a top priority. So you've got to make this, you have to really make your time in this class a priority. So if it's making sure when they're asleep or when they're somewhere else or whatever it is, but you've got to set aside time to do exactly what you said, to make this class a priority. And not just this class, but other classes. So come to class, organize your time. So therefore, you're not just showing up and listening. You also set aside time to do the work. Zoom is very hard. Oh man, me too. I'm like, yeah. Well, okay, let's go over what's something else you need to do in every single class, especially math classes, in my opinion, if you're going to be successful. I mean, you've got to ask for help. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know why I'm putting exclamation points on all these. Ask for help. If you need help, ask. Look, I'm here to help you. Okay, that's part of my job. In my opinion, that's part of my job, is I'm here to help you. Part of the job, of course, is relaying knowledge, but also the part of the job, in my opinion, is guiding you to the success. Okay, so if you have an issue, please do not hesitate to ask for help. I know a lot of you guys are also in the QR support class, and you can ask Ms. Hodges for help if you're in that class, which is great. But you've got to ask for help if you need it. If it doesn't make sense. Now, if you really don't want to ask in the middle of a lecture because you're shy, I would tell you to get over that. But I know for some of us, it's kind of hard. You can email me, and that's fine. That in any way, or ask any, somebody that you trust for help. Yeah, set aside time for studying. That's what I meant for organize time wisely, Ava. Let's go over what Emily said, though. Take notes, and I'm going to lump take notes and do homework together. Take notes and do the homework. I think this one, I mean, other than, of course, coming to class so you know which homework to do, but taking notes and doing the homework is crucial to this class. You're going to get real lost in a lot of ways. And one of the ways is if you don't do the homework, you really don't know what you don't know. I don't know if you guys kind of have heard that saying before, but in math, a lot of times you really don't know what you don't know until you do the homework. And look, math especially is not a spectator sport. Okay, you've got to be in it. You got to be doing the work to really get the most out of it. Okay, I'm not a Netflix binge series. Okay, you've got to put in the work on your side to be successful. Okay, yeah, set aside time every week. That's organizing your time wisely. Set aside time each week. That's really lumped into two. So set aside time. I'll put that there. Set aside time each week. If for me, like my Fridays are kind of free. If I was taking a class, I would definitely set aside time on Friday to catch up or to get prepared for things. We got 4 more to go. I know there's something I mentioned in the lecture that you guys haven't told me, that if you were struggling, what's kind of what something you could do, you could utilize. Tutoring, yes, perfect. Oh, videos. Oh, I'm going to do 2 different ones of those. Okay, so I'm going to do tutoring first, Miss Althea, or if you know a private tutor in town, that's fine. But tutoring, definitely. That's, again, I mentioned it already in the lecture, but I would use our tutoring service on campus, or if you want to pay for a private tutor, that's fine, but they always help. And then, yeah, okay, Emily, I'm going to expand that one, not just watch videos, but I'm going to say use online resources. Use online resources. So what that means is if we're covering a topic, let's say, like, I think our first topic in 1A is logic and practical reasoning. You can look online and watch videos on that if my video just wasn't making sense, okay? Or when we get to like exponential growth and exponential equations, things like that, you can look online and see how other people have kind of solved this. And that's fine. Khan is always a good resource. Purple Math, YouTube, they're just all really good resources. There's a lot out there. So If you're just not sure who to use, email me first. That's fine. But yes, those are two really good, how can I be successful in this class? The tutoring center. Now I'll tell you, you might not want to use the tutoring center until you know you're going to struggle. So, but I know she doesn't mind if you want to hit her up beforehand because you just know you're going to struggle. And then, online resources too. Oh, we got two more. Okay, I gotta think. What's another way we could be, or what's something you've done in another class maybe that helped you pass? Yeah, and I think Ava mentioned this too. I guess, yeah, turning stuff on time, but like, not that that's not an action. That's like the bare minimum. Like turning things in on time is kind of just the bare minimum. Like you should do that, but I'll put it down. Want to turn in work on time. Okay, let's do one more. What's something consistent with work? I'll say is organizing your time wisely and coming to class, right? And then that'll keep you consistent. What's something else? One more thing. We can come up with one more. Don't be psyched out yet. Yes. Yeah. Don't. Okay. Gosh. And I'll put that down. I'm gonna write it a little differently, Melanie. I'm saying, or sorry, not Melanie. Emily. Positive, or as positive as you can be. Right. That's a very subjective word. A positive attitude. A positive attitude helps. Yeah. Keep yourself healthy. Show up. Probably don't drink Monster Energy drinks before class, but a positive attitude really helps, especially if you already have a negative attitude towards math. This isn't a traditional math class either. So if you kind of have this negative attitude towards math, you'll kind of see pretty quickly it's not like a regular algebra-based math that you guys are probably more familiar with, either if you've taken a class in college already in algebra, or if you can't coming from high school with a more algebra-based class. So yeah, positive attitude always helps. Keeping yourself healthy, of course, helps as well. I'm gonna say, that's a good one. I'll tell you, of this 8, as long as you do the homework and you come to class, and if you do those 3 and then choose like 1 or 2 other ones, you're going to be fine. Okay. Definitely. You got to do this one too. This is like a must. Just turn in. You don't want 20 points off for that. Okay. So, but if you do these, you're going to be fine. And after that first test, if you fail that first test, if you bomb it and you come to me and you go, Mr. Shirley, I'm not sure what happened, I'm going to refer to this list. I'm going to say, look, and I'll know these. I'll know if you came to class, right? Did you come to class? And you're like, well, yeah, you saw me in class. Okay. Did you organize your time so you could get the homework done, right? Did you organize your time in a way that you set it aside for yourself to get your homework done? You're like, well, yeah. Well, maybe not. Did you ask for help? Well, I'll tell you, if you bomb that test, I can almost promise you didn't ask me for help, okay? Because I'm gonna guide you in a way that hopefully helps you. Did you contact the tutoring center? Did you use any online resources? So you'll be able to answer that question yourself. If you do ask me, why did I fail? Now, if you feel like you're doing these and you're still failing, definitely get in touch with me, okay? So we can see what's going on, if we're just going off in the wrong direction or whatnot, or if you just need to change some habits or whatever, doesn't matter. Now, guys, look, all these work for college. Or high school or gosh, just anything. How to be successful. Come to class, participate, right? Organize your time wisely. Look, if you need help, ask, right? Gosh, that's such a good skill to have. Take notes and do the homework. Put in the work. I think step 4 is just putting in the work, right? Use the tutoring center, use online resources, turn in work, be positive. You probably don't have to be positive. I've had some pretty negative people pass this class still, or pass my other classes, but it doesn't help to be positive. But I'll tell you what, none of these have are just this blatant, like, oh, I know math already. We all know those people that are like, well, I don't have to do the homework. I know math, right? And don't worry about those people that at one point they put in the work, I promise. Okay. It's not just that you're gifted and you get to just do it. You have to put in the work at some point or it's gonna kick you in the butt. Okay. So just know that this isn't like, oh, I came out of the womb and I know how to do math. These are the things on how to be successful. Okay. And it has nothing to do with, well, my parents know math well. I've heard that one. Or I got you, Emily. I've heard some good ones. Like the one I'll tell you, the one that just irks me the most, which is the nicest way I can put it, is when students I've heard this more than once, and it just pisses me off to no end. Is whenever someone says, "Well, I can't do math good. I'm a girl." I promise that doesn't matter. Okay, that doesn't matter with how well you can do math. And I can disprove that in so many ways. And we'll talk about proving and disproving, actually, logical statements. And that is one that I don't know where that idea came from, and it needs to go away. I don't think it's as prevalent as it used to be, but it is false. Yeah, woke, yes. Hashtag woke, right? It is definitely false that your gender somehow correlates with your math ability. Okay. Anyway, that's all I've got for today's lecture. Wednesday we're going to hit it hard. We're going to start on chapter 1, sections 1A and 1B. If you guys have any questions, please ask. If you think of a question later after this, just ask. Remember, that was number 3 on our how to be successful. So I'll stick around. If you have any questions, I'm going to stop the recording, but I'll stick around and